But my life has been a series of spiritual experiences. Honestly, people really don't know what love is.
What is definition of love for you?
If a guru standing in front of you, or a teacher, or me, or anybody, and they got a body, they're not perfect.
They want to learn from you. Hello, Bill. Welcome to our podcast, and I hope you are doing well. Thanks for giving the opportunity to come on this podcast. How are
Yeah,
you?
we're just starting our day here in California, and as you can tell, the sun is shining through the window this morning. So I don't normally have this much light,
Okay.
but
No, it's
but today the heavens opened up and it's shining on me. So there you go.
great. You're looking good. So light is good in our life, actually. Okay, so light is good. So can you please tell to our audience about yourself, like what exactly you do? I know about you, okay, but please share information about you to my audience.
Well, I'm not just an author, and I got books in several languages, and I go around the world giving talks and workshops, all for free. I don't charge. In fact, last January, I was in India and gave talks in Mumbai, and I was in Lucknow, and I was in Delhi, and I was in southern India, all over the place. I was all over the place, but I was only there a month as a short visit for India. And this year I'm going to the East Coast of the United States. I'm giving some workshops, retreats at the end of March, and then in April I'll be in London, going to Scotland, going to Wales, going all around England, and then I go start my what I'm really there for is to go to Germany, and I'll be in Berlin, giving a 3 day event. I think 3 days there. I'm not sure, and then I'll be going to Munster, the village, the town, the city of Munster, and then I'll be in the Bavarian forest, and then I'll be in Czech Republic, in Prague, and doing some workshops, and I think I'm going to be on television there. And then I'll be in Zurich, Switzerland. What's interesting, I got an invitation to go to Zurich
Okay.
from a bunch of Indians that are working there in the tech field. They're all in Zurich and all over Switzerland. And, oh, you come here, got to talk to us. So I'll be going there and then coming back. So I'm going to get busy here in the next few weeks. And then I just came back from Hawaii. So to get down to your point, what do? I give these free self healing workshops. I
Yeah.
talk about spiritual things. I talk about love, forgiveness, gratitude. I push no religion, no dogma. Don't try to convert anybody to my beliefs. My beliefs is just, God is love. It's just all about love and forgiveness. And how you express that through your own religious beliefs, your own jobs, your own whatever you do for society, I have no problem with that. I'm
Okay.
just telling people you got to start with you. If you love you and God resides within you, well then you're loving God. When you love yourself, you're loving God. When you're loving God, you're loving others because they're just a reflection of you, the whole one. So it's all about oneness. And so years ago, I mean, I'm going to be, about 3 weeks or so, I'll be 78 years old.
Okay.
So I'm not a kid anymore. So, but back in the 60s and 70s, when I talked about some of the things I talk about now, the people weren't ready to hear it. People weren't ready. They're all kind of locked in their own philosophical boxes. I'm this, I'm that, and I'm going, now it's, I'm trying to get people the concept about it's we're all one.
Okay.
Forget borders, forget religions, forget politics, forget male, female, forget Asian, Caucasian, forget all that stuff. If we're all one, none of that matters. So my thing that I do is to go out there and try to get people to focus on just loving each other, but starting with themselves.
Right.
You can't give anybody else what you don't have, and recognizing that over 90 some percent of the people I work with around the world, it's very easy to see that most people don't have self love. They don't respect themselves. They let themselves be abused by others or their bosses or society or whatever. Uh, they they don't forgive themselves. They have a lot of guilt. And the number one problem, according to the United Nations, I just read this a couple of weeks ago, was on Yahoo of all places.
Hmm.
United Nations did a study and said the number one disease in the world was not so much a physical disease, but an emotional disease called loneliness. That no matter what country you went to, no matter how popular somebody was or how many so called friends they had surrounded themselves with,
Hmm.
they're lonely. And we're living in a culture where people are doing this, when they go someplace and nobody's talking at the dinner table, and you can see why people are getting lonely.
Right.
So there's this contradiction. Right now, we're living in an age where communication is greater than it ever was.
Hmm.
It's also the worst than it ever was on a personal level. People are not they're not talking to each other. They're not looking at each other. And we got a generation of people growing up that were born in 1998 or 2000 and and younger.
Right.
They've lost this interconnection, like dealing with people. It's not about computer games, boom, boom, boom on a screen and with their friends and they're talking to them. That's not friendship. That's not communication. And so I'm taking what I learned when I was a teenager living in the Hawaiian Islands, and I met a guy, a Kahuna. And in case you don't know, a lot of people in the rest of the world may not be familiar with a Kahuna. All they hear about the big Kahuna, the surfer, that. But the Kahuna is kind of like thinking like a shaman, like a guru, like a teacher. The Kahuna religion is this ancient Hawaiian cultural religion that they had on the islands there, and it's about chanting, meditations, mantras, healing. I mean, it's very similar. In fact, more similar than I realized to India, because I was in India. One of my many trips to India was, I think it was 2000 and one of my early 2000 trips to India. It doesn't matter. I'm at this ashram. I'm sitting around the sacred fire. Everybody goes to bed. It's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Just me and the guru sitting there. And finally, he's talking about, I was talking about Hawaii, and stuff. And he goes, "Oh," he says, "The Kahuna religion." He says that's the closest related frequency and energy to the old Nath yoga tradition, and explained to me how even though it's a different culture, different language, different words, but the vibration and the frequencies of the chants, of the prayers, of the whole practice of the religion, of all the other practices in the world, Kahuna religion in the South Pacific, in the middle of the ocean, right, halfway around the world from India, is like a brother. It's like brother religions, the
Okay.
same frequency. So thought that was interesting because it evolved thousands and thousands of miles away from India, in the middle of nowhere. I mean, that part of the ocean, there's nothing close, and yet these two cultures, the Nath yoga tradition in the Himalayan mountains,
Hmm.
20, 15, 20,000 years ago, whatever they started, and these ancient Hawaiians, both vibrated at the same frequency, which shows you that the great truths, the great teachings,
Hmm.
it's all sourced from the same consciousness. So therefore, it didn't surprise me so much because it's like, well, there's only one source, one energy, one God, one consciousness,
Uh-huh.
then it would be hard for people to plug in no matter where they're at around the world. Anyway, so you asked me what I do. I go out there and I have talks like I'm having now, and I write books and I do podcasts and television shows and I write articles. And at this stage of my life, my desire is to take what I've learned over the last 7, 8 decades of my life and gift them, give it away to those people that are seekers, that are people that want to take what I got and extend it and even go even further and develop what I've done. So I'm going out there and I'm teaching people about self healing, which is we can talk about. But background wise, I'd say it takes several books to tell you because, and that's truth because I've got several books. But born in California, raised in Hawaii and Oregon, and I was a surfer and all that stuff. Went in the army, was in Vietnam, was blown up, shot down in my helicopter, shot by a machine gun, blown up by a rocket. I mean, I was in the war. I did a lot of things. I've had 3 near-death experiences. I've had rainbow body experiences. I've had out-of-body experiences. I've had two-body experience, multi-body experiences. I've had time travel. I've even had an encounter with a UFO and an alien abduction. Me and my sisters going way back. I mean, I don't even know where to start other than mystical would be a small box to put me in, but it's a lot of stuff has happened, and so I'm out there trying to channel it down to a smaller amount, small bite that people can bite and digest. No, all this stuff was interesting, and I was with kahunas, I was with gurus, I was with all these great teachers, I was bumming around the Himalayas, I was doing all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But essence of all that, essence of everything I learned was it's all about love. The rest of it's just it's religious beliefs. If you want to have beads, you want to burn incense, you want to do a puja, you want to do a mass, it doesn't matter. God don't care. God has no religion.
Right.
And the bottom line is this: when you die, there's such a thing as death. If when you leave this body, you know the only thing that really matters is who did you love, not who loved you, because that could be influenced by money, fame, fortune, what you do for people. Because sometimes, as a parent, you can be hard on a child because you got to eat your vegetables. Don't do. The kid hates you, or you take away the drugs from the kid, or whatever, right? So the kid may not like you, but you love them.
All right.
That's all that matters. So there you go.
Great.
In essence, that's about a nickel lecture on $1 million question.
Yeah, you gave a very great introduction about you. Okay, and you have achieved a lot and learned a lot. So that's great. So can you tell me where did you learn all these like techniques and everything like the workshop you do? Where did you learn? Like, do you have like particular kind of degree for this, or this is like by your own experience you had in your life? Like how you learn?
The greatest learning in anything you do
You know?
is always experiential. What you experience, what you do. Even if you fail doing things, you've learned something.
Right.
But my life has been a series of spiritual experiences,
Okay.
downloads of energy and light from others,
Hmm.
um, path following Yogananda when I was young. I still follow Yogananda, um, following kahunas, following teachers. I used to think that I really didn't have a defined teacher, that I kind of learned everything on my own.
Okay.
And I went to Hawaii this last month. And I had this epiphany when I was in Hawaii. It was like, why am I telling people I don't? Everybody's got teachers. Everybody teaches you something,
Right.
whether you know it or not. Even a child or a homeless person or a CEO or whatever it is, everybody, if you're open to learning and being that student, then I guess I've been a student all my life and I've learned from something from everybody, even my so called enemies,
Hmm.
my greatest teachers, because they teach you patience, love, forgiveness, compassion. So yeah, so I'm pretty heavy into Kriya Yoga meditation. Um, I spent hours and hours, days, weeks. I mean, when I was younger, I really, really, really was serious on my meditations. I watch these young people now. I want to do what you do. I want to do what you do. And they're like, "Oh, how much you meditate?" Well, 2, 3 days a week. I got 15, 20 minutes there. And I'm going, yeah, I used to spend a weekend, or go someplace and you fast for a month and you meditate for, days, just till you drop. So the hunger is still there,
Right.
but the discipline to reach a level of understanding is an issue for this generation because I want it now. Instantaneous is not fast enough. I want it now. Instead of no, take the baby steps. You have to do the work. So asking how and what I learned, I think most people start off and are curious, and uh, Westerners and people in India, a lot of them start off, they read books, they go listen to lectures. Now they're discovering YouTube videos and they'll watch all these different things. That's the menu of this search menu. And then eventually you have to get down to a point where you got to go, well, that's like a million ideas. You're not going to go anywhere trying to follow 20 trails, right? You got to pick a path to the mountain and then stick with it. And if it's the right path, you will know. And if it's not, then look for another path. But a lot of people have so many things going. They watch this guy for a while, they read this guy's book, they listen to this one, they practice this. Uh, they're always learning new meditation techniques. I'm going, they all work.
Right.
Pick one. Whatever makes you pick one.
Hmm.
You know, uh, but they all work. What is lacked is consistency, discipline, and they miss the point of the meditation. The meditation, they're going to the meditation because they want to be calm, peaceful. They want self realization. They want enlightenment. They want. Instead of going to the meditation and go, I love you. I love you, God. I'm
Okay.
here. That's all I need. Don't need no gift back. Don't
Right.
don't need self realization. Don't need nothing. Just need to go to God and say, I'm here. So everybody spends all their time on whatever meditation techniques they're learning. So their mind is going, oh, I got this mantra going. I'm going down the spine. There's heat. There's cold. There's light. Whatever techniques they use, right? There's shot. Whatever phrases they're using,
Hmm.
and they're so focused on doing that and counting. That's 108 now. That's okay. But all that time, the mind is going.
Right.
And then they get done. They go, I'm done. They walk away. And I'm going, no, no. That's like taking cow's milk and churning it just before it turns to cheese or butter. You stop, right? You're just churning it. You finish your meditation, the techniques, and then you sit for the greatest part of the process because communication with God is two ways. There's talking to God, which I'm talking to God, I'm praying, I'm doing all this stuff, and my mind is going. And then there's the most important part of communication, listening to God. So at the end of this, whatever you're doing, let's say it's Kriya Yoga or Om technique or Hang Sa technique or anyone you want to name in there, right?
So, yeah.
When you think you're finished physically, you're not. That's now it's time to sit and absorb, sit and receive. Just sit in love, giving love, no anticipation of getting anything back. No special cities, no special powers, no, not even peace of mind. You're just there to love. Taking people to that place,
Hmm.
very hard because everybody, I want to be a healer. I want to walk through walls. I want to do out of body experiences. I want a rainbow bike experience. I want to meet Babaji. I want to meet the great ones. I want. It's all about them trying to experience something. And that's why these people that are selling the idea of psychedelics and drugs, even if this is nature, these are magic mushrooms, or this is ayahuasca, or this is marijuana, all these things to promote. this process, it's that is chasing experiences and not truly seeking love. There's a difference.
Hmm.
They're in the process of trying to get that spiritual experience. Because you could have these experiences on all these drugs, but it's not love. There's a
Right.
difference. So I'm going around the world with this message, and it's hitting some people like nobody wants to give up their marijuana, nobody wants to give up their ayahuasca, nobody wants to give up the mushrooms, nobody wants to give up the LSD, the psychedelics. No, I mean, no, these things are good. I'm having experiences. No, you're seeking experiences, and you'll get experiences. And of course, with those things, you might even throw up and everything else, but it's not the same as just going to the source and just saying, "I surrender. I'm here. I love you. Use me. Let me serve. What do you want me to do?" That's different.
Hmm.
It's really different. So I'll be back in India end of October, first week or two of November. I'll be there again. I
Again.
usually go to India periodically. So
Okay.
I'm going to be I'll be at Babaji's cave specifically, but I'll be in Delhi and in that the Himalayas and that area there, going to the Ganges. Um, but my it surprises me that when I go to India,
Uh-huh.
that I have gurus coming to me. And I thought, well, I got a chance. I can ask questions. Like my first trip there. Oh, I'm going to go to India. I'll ask all these questions, right?
Hmm.
Everywhere I went, it was reverse. Well, tell me what you're doing. Show me what. I'm going, wait a minute, man. Coming to you, and you're telling me that you want what I got. So it was an odd experience
So
because what I'm doing basically,
they want to learn from you. You are saying the guru came to you and they want to learn from you, right?
no, apparently so. But here's the deal.
Uh-huh.
I go to India, like Delhi and place in Mumbai,
Okay.
and I'm taking the spirit, the essence of yoga teachings.
Hmm.
You know, the whole essence of, I mean, the whole essence of this love and everything, right?
Hmm.
And I'm narrowing it down and focusing it through the mind of a child, me,
Hmm.
and I'm giving India back a simplified, childlike uh, dialogue of what they should already been taught and know. And even for the gurus that I talk to, it's like when I narrow it and make it so simple, everybody goes, "Yeah, you don't you don't need a special mantra. You don't need a special puja. If you want to do those things, great. It makes you happy, great. You know, if you believe in it, great. It'll help you. No problem. Not against it. I'm just saying, God don't really care. It's what's in your heart. So when I go to Hawaii, it's the same thing. Uh, I give the Hawaiian the Kahuna. In fact, I was just there last couple weeks ago,
Hmm.
and this Kahuna that I was working with, he had somebody give me a reading and everything, and basically it said that I was this Kahuna's Kahuna. I was his teacher. And then when I went to Hawaii when I was 18, there was a guy who was 60 some years old, David K. Bray, who said that I was his teacher. And I was 18 and he was 66, and he was the big Kahuna there. So and so I don't go around citing all the Hawaiian words and all the Hawaiian things. I take the essence of the most simple things that they're teaching. Like I'm a child and I'm giving it to a child, and people are hungry for that. It's not that complicated. People are making religion all about dogma. Got to have this mantra. If you don't say it right, you know, if you have bad things, you got to say this prayer, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's got to be this scripture, and
Hmm.
it's got to be, it fits whatever box religion they were given as a child.
Okay.
Most religions are basically cultural, family,
Hmm.
and that's great. You know, you get your holidays, do your things. I tell people, hey, look, that's your family thing. That don't have to leave it, but realize that everything you do is just about love. So just take whatever you're doing and add this extra. spice to what you're doing.
Okay.
I'm telling people, yeah, I don't care if you're Catholic, I don't care if you're Jewish, I don't care if you're Hindu, I don't care if you're whatever.
Okay.
Add love.
What do you mean love for you in your language? Like, what do you think? What is love? What is definition of love for you?
Actually, that question I get almost everywhere because honestly, people really don't know what love is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this is not, sexual love. This is not, love for drugs, love for. It's just love is recognizing and honoring God within you.
Okay.
That the divinity is you. You're just a reflection of that. And when you love God, you love yourself. If you can't love yourself, you can't love God. If you can't forgive yourself, you got a problem. Because when you can't forgive yourself, you're saying, "Well, God can forgive me, but I can't because I'm smarter than God, right? I know better." Anyway, I always laugh when somebody can't forgive themselves. It's like, well, you believe God does? Well, yeah, God. Well, first off, most people have this concept of I'm here and I pray to God, meaning God is someplace else, right? And I'm going, no, there is no other place. There's no other time. There's no other space. There isn't any other. There's nothing outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
God, the consciousness, God, love is you. You're a reflection of that. Now, what happens is
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason I can't define, I have no reason why, God is awakened himself in all these individual souls to express and learn through free will uh, their lives. And so people are ego based. In other words, meaning that they believe in their I ness. I am whatever they are, right? And they believe their stories. I'm this human being, and I was born, and therefore I live, I die, I suffer, I go to heaven, hell, purgatory, the astral world, wherever they go, and I believe in reincarnate. Then you're going to come back, reincarnate. If you believe in the I, then you accept all that as your reality, and you will go through that. And depending on where on this now scale
Mm-hmm.
you focus, like we're focused on this, believe this now 2024, whatever that is, right? We're focused there. In reality, right now, you and I are already fully realized back with God at some future, same now, but we're not focused there. And the past us, you in previous lifetimes or you in future lifetimes, it's all happening instantaneous. It's all happening in the now. That's what people don't get. They got books in America, all in the now, in the now, and then these Indians they read those books and they all laugh. Where else would you be but in the now? It doesn't matter, right? So,
So how
but
many times you have been in India for your spiritual tour or like for any kind of learning as per you told me? So how many times
well,
you have been?
well, this lifetime, yeah, at least a half a dozen, but most of the times I was there like for 3 months at a shot.
Oh, okay.
You
When
know,
did you last
two,
time?
three, 4 months.
When did you
What's
last
that?
time came?
January of last year, I was there,
Oh,
and I'm going back this year, and then and I was there in 9 and 10, 11 and 4, a bunch of dates. I bounce around on India uh, as I feel a need to be. I usually get something from every journey I go there. At my age, uh, journeying to India is not so easy anymore. I mean, I used to go and I'd stay at backpacker hotels. I mean, I didn't care. You got a toilet? Great. You got a shower? Optional. Okay, just got water, cold. Okay, that's all right. I did nothing. Now I'm going. No, you got to have a hot water shower and you got to have a Western toilet and clean sheets, and I'm happy. So as you get older, you can't just can't wander around from ashram to ashram. You got to be a little bit more planned. But um, I am finding that the spiritual hunger is just as great today as it has been ever in young people, even though they're having a hard time in today's society, back to this loneliness and they're not communicating. They know they need something more.
Okay.
In fact, at my house, I live about 90 miles away from what they call Silicon Valley, California.
Okay.
Santa Clara, San Jose, Sunnyvale. Yahoo and Facebook and all those guys are
Yeah.
about they're about 90 miles away.
Okay.
So I'm not listed anywhere my address or nothing. But before COVID, I'd have all these Silicon Valley executives come to my house on the weekend. I go, how the hell do you guys find me? And the guy goes, well, I'm an executive at Yahoo and I'm at Google. There's no secrets. I go, what do you mean there's no secrets? They found all my bills, the utility bills, the tax bills. Nothing is secret. I find out on the internet. You can't hide.
Right.
I mean, anyway, these companies know where everybody's at. So anyway, so these guys show up, and I'm talking these guys. So one guy shows up and he goes, Reverend Bill. He says, I'm here to help you. I go, well, I don't really need any help, but if you want to show up and we talk, great. He says, no, no, no. He says, you don't realize. He says, I'm worth $980 million, and I could really help you. I give you what you don't need. I give you what you need. And I said, no, I got all I need. He says, no, no, you don't understand. He says, I got houses on three continents. I got 9 sports cars in just one location. He says, by next summer, he says, I'll be worth over $1 billion. And then in 10 years, I expect to be $28 billion, and he just kept going on about all that he had, how he could help me, right? And I just kept shaking my head. I said, you don't have what I have. I kept waiting for him to stop, right? I kept saying, you don't have what I have. And finally he goes, well, what do you have that I don't have?
Uh-huh.
And I just looked him in the eye and I go, enough. You'll never have enough. And the guy was just stopped cold, right? There was a guy that was, I mean, he had no concept because in his mind, once he got to $1 billion, then he was going to go to 20 billion and then 40 billion. It was just numbers.
Yes. Right.
He's measuring success off. I mean, once you got $1 billion, there's nothing more that you can buy unless you want to be living in Mumbai and buy $1 billion skyscraper and live in it with an ice room. I mean, that the place blows my mind. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? But
So,
so yeah,
can you
go ahead.
what exactly do you like in India about spirituality, and do you know anything about Indian, the culture, the past, the history, anything? Whatever the information you have, please share.
When I was in India, when was this? In my 2010 trip,
Okay.
I was staying at ashram in a jungle about 30, 40 miles from Pune,
From
maybe less. Seemed like a long ways because the roads weren't too good.
okay.
And and the guru says one day he says, Bill, I want you to go to Pune. I want you to have a Nadi palm leaf reading done. And I'm going, what in the hell is a Nadi palm leaf reading? Right? It's like, what? But so I'm thinking of palm. He's going to read my palm. I'm like a fortune telling. He goes, no, 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 none of the above. He says, no, it's palm leaf. It's a message written on a palm leaf, and they engrave it. And it's been done like 2,500 to 5,000 years ago by the great rishis. And I'm going. I said, I don't need any fortune telling. He says, I don't believe in this. And he says, it doesn't matter. It believes in you. You go, you get this done, right? So I experienced a unique thing, and since he sent me to the place, I didn't realize you know what a naughty palm leaf reading is.
No, I never.
I say that because because you're living in India. This is a major historical thing
Okay.
that for a lot of young people in India they have no concept.
Please
So let me tell you what it is.
tell me about it, like how it's experienced.
Oh no, no, this is major. 2,000 to 5,000 years ago, the
Okay.
great rishis, that was what 19 of them or something, whatever it was, and they had Augusta and the other guys.
Okay.
They started this tradition where they channeled people from the future,
Okay.
information these people would need. And this was like, say, 5,000 years ago, like in my case, right? 5,000 years ago. And they channeled this information for me to get in 2010,
Okay.
you know, and this is going to help my life, right? The concept is really great. So I didn't understand that at the time. So also, I asked the guru, I said, well, how are they going to find my Nadi palm leaf?
Mhm.
Because they got millions of them. He says, well, they got them stored in about 20 locations around India. They were all over the place. Not duplicates, but individual ones.
Right.
And they're filed by thumbprint. So here's something you probably didn't know. Thumbprint.
Mhm.
For a man, they take the right thumbprint. For a woman, they take the left from thumbprint. Now, like in astrology, there's like 12 astral signs, Pisces, Aries, Leo, whatever, right?
Mhm.
On a thumbprint, there's 108 different variations.
Yeah.
108. So instead of 12 groups, you got 108. So that's something new. I didn't know that. Okay, great.
Uh-huh.
So they take your thumbprint and then they go and they send somebody out, and this person searches all of India for your thing. It could be a month, 6 months later, a year later, they'll find your thing. I didn't know that part. I thought if the guru sends me to get my reading done, I'm going to give him my thumbprint and I'm going to sit there and wait. Well, fortunately for me, a couple hours later, uh, the guy calls me in, and I go into this room, and it's got about the size of the room I'm in here, and it's got probably every religious statue from every religion that you could have thought of. I mean, it had Jesus, it had Virgin Mary, it had Shiva. I mean, it had Krishna. It had they didn't leave anybody out. This whole thing, and there's incense burning. You walk in, it's like a smoky room. It's just incense, and the guy brings in these things. They look like Venetian blinds. They're strips about this long, and they got a hole through it with a cord, and each one's represents a different soul. The information for that soul, and they have you in a group based on this 108 and other variables. And this guy goes and he finds this, and he doesn't initially know the right one until they ask questions. So I sit down there, and all I'm told by the guru is, when he asks you questions, don't give him any hints, don't give him any information, just say yes or no.
Mhm.
Okay. He says, that way you're getting a true reading. I said, okay. And he says, and then you also want to know uh, why this is the right time you're in there. So you want to listen for or ask what verifies this is the time I'm supposed to be there. So I went in this thing, totally innocent, had no clue what was going on. Western mind, but I've studied things. So I sit down there, and the guy goes through 6 of these things, and as soon as you say no, he takes that and he sets it aside. He goes, "That's not yours." And the kind of questions he asks, because like he says intuitively, this guru that's doing it, he says intuitively, the 7th one is yours. He says, I feel that. And so he asks a question. The question he asks is, your name is 4 letters long. Well, I go by Bill, but my real name is William. But I go by Bill. So I said, yes. I don't explain. I just go, okay, because I really use that every day, Bill, right? I go, yes. And he says, it starts with B. And I go, yes. Okay. He says, it's Bill. I go, yes. And then he says, and your father's name was, meaning he's dead, was exactly the same as yours.
Oh.
I'm I'm William H. McDonald Jr. It's exactly the same as my father. Exactly. So when he says your name is exactly the same as your father, I had to say yes. And then he goes, and your mother's name is Marcella. And then he goes, and your wife's name is Carol. And he goes down a list of about 40 things, everything, son, daughter, the birth order, all this stuff. And then he goes, and your birth date is March 16th, 1946. And I'm going, wow, that's pretty good, right? I mean, and then he goes, but we're unsure of the time. Okay, fine, I accept that. But what he didn't know, and he says we see it between about 105 or 110 and between 25 in the morning. What they didn't know was when I was born, the doctor wasn't there, and the doctor came in later and asked the nurse, and they said, "What was between?" Same thing they told me. It was between 105 or 110 and 125 in the morning. And the doctor made a guess, and he put that on the birth certificate. They made a guess, and they said, "Well, we're going to guess this." And they put same exact guess that's on my birth certificate, which was kind of interesting, right?
I
So they go through this whole thing, and then they go, to prove this is the right time you're here, you recently worked on a movie, but according to this writing, it says play, but that's written 5,000 years ago. It says, my intuition says you worked on a movie, not a play, but not as an actor, something else. What they didn't know, what the guru didn't know, what nobody knew was 3 weeks before that, I helped redo the ending of a movie. That was real, I suggested some script changing and they rewrote it and it worked out. It was fine. It was beautiful, but nobody knew that. And had I gone in there the year before, that would have meant nothing to me. Had I got into it the next year, recently, that's not recently. Um, and then it basically said, and your guru is Lord Shiva. And
Lord,
they said, of course,
do you know
Lord Shiva.
about Lord
Yeah,
Shiva?
yeah. But see, nobody can be a direct disciple of Lord Shiva. He says, but then he goes, and you got a guru, and he gives me a guru name. And but Lord Shiva is that was it, right? At that time, I'm going. I wasn't into Shiva at all. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Because then he goes, he says, according to this thing, you're a lover of Lord Shiva. And I go, well, there was 40 questions. And I go, well, okay, I got to say yes because all the 39 questions before that were all yes. So I'm thinking maybe I don't even know this one. So I said, okay, I'll assume that. Yeah, okay. So then I thought that was a reading. I get my wallet out and I want to pay the guy for the reading. He goes, no, that's not the reading. That's just your index card. I go, what? He says, now we're going to go and do a Vedic chart on you based on this information, what we have here. And so 6 hours later, I'm brought upstairs. And this Vedic chart, they nailed me from when I'm born all the way up to the day I walked in there. They had all that information just nailed. And then they gave me the future. And then they gave me past life, not immediate past life, but one that had significance to today, which would verify why I was there at the ashram with this particular guru at this time of my life. And so they went to a past life where I was a senior monk at an ashram in Sri Lanka,
Okay.
And then and then the guru sent along a note to these guys, tell me what my worst sin ever was. Any like worst sin ever was. Well, I was a senior monk, and I thought this beautiful lady was beautiful, and I emotionally felt she was just a beautiful lady, and kind of had love, but had no desire to do anything.
Yeah.
That was enough for the guru, put a curse on my mind, send me out of the out of the ashram, you know. So that was my worst sin ever, was have a thought of love of a woman. So at the end of that lifetime, according to the reading, I'm in the Ganges River, and there's a blaze of light above the river, and I come up out of the water, and there's Lord Shiva, which you can only see if you're dead, and I leave in a rainbow body, and according to their readings, at least 10 to 15 lifetimes they could go, whatever they went back to, that I've always left the same way in a rainbow body, but volunteered to come back into this life. So they go through all this stuff. Anyway, they made a bunch of predictions. Every one happened but one.
Okay.
Every single one of them happened but one. And that was my death. And there was a caveat on that. And it said, they don't normally tell you when you're going to die. They'll say, vaguely, this. But mine, they said, no, this thing runs out in 2020. If you come to India in 2020, you're never coming back, right? Oh, okay. Well, COVID came, right? It's certainly not making a trip to India. And then in 2020, I had somebody, a group in India, and some people gave me a free reading from 2020 and
Okay.
showed that I was extended because I had to do this work for Lord Shiva. I had to do this work for Augusta. I had to do this work for getting my message out, which is their message about love. And so sometime when you got more time, I'll explain the whole process. But basically, there's a culture that's being lost in India, and that is the Nadi palm leaf reading.
Like what?
Because I'll tell you why it's getting lost. Because young people don't want to do it. First off, you got to the training is immense, immense, and you make more money just being a tech guy. I mean, come on, in southern India, you go to college 4 years, boom, you're making money all over the place. You don't make a lot of money doing this,
Mhm.
right? It's a huge investment, and it's not something you can't just do it. You have to really be anyway. So there's a group in Eastern Europe. There's a guy, Dr. Q, I call him,
Okay.
who's taken it upon himself to. It doesn't make any money from it, but he's kind of like a nonprofit guy, and he's supporting these people and making sure they're training new people, and he's bringing Westerners through Zoom talks to do these readings to keep the art alive,
Mhm.
and otherwise it's going to die. It's one of the most beautiful gifts given to the world. And so I listened to an interview he had on a podcast, and the guy asked me, he said, well, how can these guys know when this guy's going to walk in to get the reading, right? Like in your case. And he says, because all time is now. So when I'm giving my thumbprint in this now, that now, 5,000 years ago, the guy's channeling me and he's giving me this information because he knows I'm going to walk in right then in that next frequency, right? The now I'm in now. Anyway, culture, that's one part of the culture that Indians are missing. Young people are not being taught. Um, I've met a lot of Indians that are living in California and Massachusetts and North Carolina, all over the United States and Canada, England,
Right.
and even in India, it surprises me that are not teaching their children the old culture.
Right.
They don't even know about pujas. They don't know about the guru disciple relationship. They don't know anything.
Right. They don't know
But you
nothing about history, anything.
no, no, they don't know nothing about the Great War with millions of people fighting, and possible atomic weapons. And they go, "What? What are we talking about?" I go, "It's right there in your scriptures. Read it, man. It's right there, right? I mean, great civilization, one of the greatest civilizations ever, right there in India. I mean, it's like they just, you know. So, no, you asked me what I know about I I I feel right at home in India. Um, uh, it's uh, it's my second home,
Okay.
so I go there often. But um, I'm finding that the ignorance there is growing. That there's more focus on money, and this includes the gurus.
Right.
There's a group of gurus. They're more interested in a million people on Facebook likes than they are on walking their what we call in America walking your talk, living the life that you're telling others. But it's about money, power, prestige, being known, fame, fortune, ego, and of course there's worse going on in India too with those guys. I don't want to bring that up, but yeah,
Happening
they're not
not just in India, it's happening everywhere. The same.
including American churches everywhere,
Hmm?
all religions, right,
Everyone looking
everywhere.
for fame and money. Okay, in even
Yeah, that's it.
those.
So it's a big, big, big trap.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to tell people, don't go there. You have to have a balance.
Uh-huh.
God doesn't want more beggars with begging bowls living in caves. Got that. But we need spiritual people to become good householders so they can bring spiritual offspring, children into the world. You need spiritual parents to raise spiritual children.
Right.
They can't all be gurus and saints in cages, or in caves or in ashrams or wherever, right? They got to be in society, living and dealing with the everyday. And unfortunately, India is imitating the West in many ways, from fast food, garbage food,
Uh-huh.
to money, money, money. Tech will solve it, AI will solve it, uh, and they're losing the greatest technical help they ever could get, which is through the one consciousness, through plug it into that greater consciousness. That's where all the ideas, everything's there. Nothing needs to be invented. It's already there. You just got to pluck it. It's it's there. It presents itself when you're ready. So Indian culture, American culture. There's when Paramahansa Yogananda, I believe you know who he is,
Yes, I know.
came to America.
I know.
Okay, he came to America in 1920, over 100 years ago, and he came here to take the best of India, the spiritual values, and marry it with the best of the West, technology, you know, hygiene, all this other stuff, organizational things, Ford making cars on assembly line. Take that aspect with this Indian aspect and meld the two because it'd be a great marriage because one without the other was not balanced.
Right.
You need the tech. You need the not just knowledge, but you need the wisdom from the spiritual. But if you're all spiritual, everybody's starving, you haven't accomplished too much, right? I mean, but you have to have a balance. So Yogananda went to Europe and he was well received. And he went to in America well received because he was basically telling people you need both balance of the East and the West. And that is truly where we're kind of at now, except the young people in India have adapted so much of the West, rap music,
Right.
dress, movies, graffiti, everything you could think of from the West, which I think is garbage.
Right.
They've adapted it and they're enjoying it and everything. So I'm just telling people, don't forget the roots,
Right.
and then the young parents that come to our country, raising families here, uh, they don't have it themselves to give. They've got so focused on college and making money and the tech that there's no. They laugh at you. Go to see a guru, you go into an ashram, they laugh at it. Nadi palm leaf reading, they look at me like you did, like, what you talking about? What? This was this is one of the greatest things in India that's been discovered by the West. It's just think about this. You go in there, and I suggest you get one done. You go in there with your thumbprint, and they come out there, and they know everything about you from your thumbprint. And they come and they tell you who you're married to, if you're not married, if you're divorced, your children. Tells you when you're born, your birth date, time. I mean, they do the whole thing, and you got to go. Well, if they can do that, them telling you your future's got to be pretty close, right? Same methods. So yeah, India and America, uh, if they both lose their values, they're not a help to each other. If they both embrace the best they got
Right.
and join together, there's something between America and India. There's an energy there that the great ones have come here. Before Yogananda was here, there was other great ones that came here from India. I mean, a lot of great people from India have come here.
Yes.
There's something about America that gives hope to the rest of the world. As crazy as America is right now, and I say that, but it hurts my heart to say it. I mean, we've kind of lost our way, but I have faith. I do believe that we'll get back on track again, just like I do believe that India will eventually find itself, right itself, and realize that, okay, we can sell cars, we can sell computers, we can build skyscrapers, we got all that, but don't lose what nobody else had, this great spiritual culture.
Cool.
That's just
Right.
anyway. So
I agree.
that I kind of brought it really down for you, but it's like that's a question we could talk days on.
No, I'm learning lots of things from you. So everyone will learn when they will watch this
Okay,
episode. I can see a picture behind you. I think he's your guru. And you,
so when,
yeah. Who is he?
yeah, that's Yogananda. Plus down there, that's Yogananda.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah,
great.
that picture down there is the last one taken of him before he died, 1952 or three, whatever year it was. And so
So,
yeah,
Which is your
I
favorite place in India to visit for your spirituality
What was that? What was my favorite? What?
location? Favorite location to visit? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
uh,
Like
well,
some people come in
I,
Rishikesh.
I could tell you my I could tell you my least favorite place.
Oh, okay.
Uh, 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 and I don't want to step on Mumbai because there's beautiful people there. I like the people in Mumbai, and I've been received well. But just the traffic. When it took me 4 hours to get from one side of town to the next, I'm going. I shouldn't take 4 hours. It's only that far on the map, right? Bumper to bumper, and I got sports cars ahead of me and behind me that are really rich sports cars, revving their engines. They ain't going any faster than I'm going in a petty one of those cab things, three wheelers. I'm going, come on. So no, I every part of India is totally different. I mean, I love the desert. My God, the desert was just beautiful, beautiful.
Okay, in Rajasthan, in right?
Yeah,
Okay.
all those little towns loved it. I've ridden camels out there toward up on the Pakistani border, camped out, done all kinds of stuff in there. Um, I like going up to the border of Pakistan where the Golden Temple's at.
Okay, it's
Um,
Amritsar, right? Amritsar.
the Golden Temple there, it was. I was there at sunrise. It made me cry. It was just so beautiful there. I've been to where the Dalai Lama's at, Dharmasal. Is that where it's at?
Okay.
Uh, Beautiful place in the foothills of Himalayas. Beautiful. I've driven up in some of those roads in the Himalayas where one car fits, the next one comes, you got to back down. And whoever's the biggest is going to go around, right? You got 2,000 foot drop, and oh my God. And then there's water coming down on the road. But yeah, I've been on those roads. So that was my favorite roads, but I went places that were beautiful. Southern, I, I was surprised by Southern India. It's so much more modern and Western than I thought it would be. Um, really beautiful airports, beautiful trains, clean, neat, very westernized. Um, Pune, too populated, too many people. It was probably better 40 years ago than it is now. Population is killing it. Same thing with Mumbai. Population is killing it. Uh, Delhi, not my favorite place,
Why?
but it's just a hustle bustle.
Okay.
It's it's if you want the crowds. So if you notice, there's a trend here. The big cities like whatever Calcutta is called now. What's Calcutta called now?
Calcutta.
Well, you still call it Calcutta. I still call it Calcutta, but it's got another name.
Now it's called Kolkata, but before that, I think it was uh,
Calcutta.
Calcutta. Calcutta.
Yeah, with a C. So that that was disappointing to me. I was expecting that was smoggy, dirty, beautiful people. Again,
Mhm.
the people's what I'm attracted to. People were good,
Mhm.
but it's the Himalayan foothills. It's those little towns up above. I like those. It was those desert towns. I like that. It was the small cities. I like that. I'm not into the big cities, but it's
And what about
again.
the hills area, Himalayan, Rishikesh, Himachal? Have you?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You go to the Ganges, beautiful. I've been on boats and stuff on that. I've
Have you
waded out in it. I spent a lot of time there. So see, India. People go to India. They take a short trip. Well, I've been to India. I went to Taj Mahal. I went to Delhi, and I'm going. What? You didn't see India?
now we have many more mandirs like Sri Ram Mandir you hear about after 500 years, it's built now, and there was inauguration of the temple last month. So next time when you will come visit to Sri Ram Mandir also, that is also beautiful. So you will love it.
Yeah, I like visiting old. And in India, that's a relative term because in America, 150 years would be old. Oh my God, it's 150 years old. When I say old in
Okay,
India, I mean
okay,
something that's like
understand.
eight, 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 years old. I'm going, okay, I want to see those old temples. I want to see those ruins if they're ruined. That's okay. It doesn't bother me. I like those old sacred spots. Uh, there's a feeling there.
Uh-huh.
There's an energy there
No,
that.
there is a, you should must read about Ram Mandir. It's built now, but the history. Okay, when you will read about the history and everything about it, then you will definitely love to go there. Okay, because
Well, it's like in Mumbai. If you go down the tip of Mumbai
uh-huh,
and you take a boat out to the little island out there, and you got those caves with all this. I mean, that's really cool. I like that
right.
kind of stuff. The carved cavings, and all that stuff. But there's stuff like that around India if you go look. So I enjoyed the historic India,
Right.
but to me, it's the religious sacred places,
Do you,
and so that's.
do you believe in religions?
Uh, I believe in oneness. We're all one. There's only one God, and to me, God is love. Whatever you want to practice religion wise, if it makes you think of God with love, great, do it.
Okay.
Is your religion any better than the next guy's? No. Is it any worse than the next guy's? No. It's religion. Religion is religion. I believe in the spiritual, loving the one God. So, and how you choose to express that, I'm totally on board with whatever you. If it makes you happy, if you want to celebrate the holidays, if you want to be with your family, then do it. Don't be half in and half out. Then do it. Do it with love. So I I go to Buddhist temples, Hindu temples. I may go to Shiva temples. I'm at home meditating and praying in any house of God, any and all.
I also had a experience, okay, a meditation experience. It's called Vipassana. I did that like 15 days program, okay, and yeah, they helped me to meditation, okay, and I learned a new thing in this Vipassana. So, do you also know about Vipassana or any like any more, good, which you can say, any technique or anything you want?
Yeah, here's without techniques, it's hard to focus a restless mind.
Uh-huh.
So techniques serve a purpose. You have to get to that place where you're not thinking, analyzing, data driven. You know, you're not going to find God through thinking. You got to be out of your mind. You got to be mindless. You got to you have to be in that place where it's just you and God. It's just one. And when you surrender to that, but getting a technique to get there, uh, yeah, you need something because the mind was born restless, continues to be restless. The more you know, the more you learn, the more you worry, the more you're fearful. Your mind gets crazy. Trying to get the thoughts, calm down.
Right.
That's where it's at. That's why I use. So finds the technique that works for you, whatever religion you are. I think a lot of different groups have different techniques, but the most powerful ones, and again, they all work. The most powerful ones are the ones that move the energy in your spine, your kundalini energy. So if
Okay.
you're focusing on light and love and all these good things inside your spine while you're doing these mantras or whatever visualizations, you're probably going to have some good experiences. But again, you got to go past the experiences. You got to focus just on giving. It's about giving love to God. End of story. If you have no experiences, it doesn't matter.
Okay. One of my friend actually, he's from Germany. Okay, he live in Rishikesh, India, from last few
Ah,
years.
place, yeah.
Yeah. So now he have a big beard. He looks like a sadhu. Okay, a guru. So now, actually, he was with me in Vipassana. I met with him. So now he's saying he learned something like any kind of Hanuman power or something. He said to me. Okay, he said, "You come." to me. Okay, I want you to experience that power. You will be powerful, and all he is talking about. So, what is that? Do you think it's possible like this, or it's
All right.
or
First off,
hypnotizing?
first off, is
Mhm.
that's very possible. Uh, if you got somebody that's really heavy into meditation and changing their frequency and their energy,
Uh-huh.
just by being around them, their energy and their frequency will. If you're like a tuning fork, their energy will make you vibrate. All right, so it's like they will help pull up your energy. There are people that can do that. Yes. Again, this is all about finding yourself in love with the divine. So everything else is it's nice. You got to start off your journey by exploring everything. I I know that, so I don't tell young people not to. Don't no. Go out there, explore everything, do all this stuff. Do whatever you got to do.
Mhm.
Ultimately, you'll wake up one day and realize that the only thing that matters is love.
Okay.
As simple and as stupid as that is, it's the only thing that really matters. But do you need a technique to get your mind calm? Yes. Does it help to have a guru, a teacher? Yes. Does it does it help to have religious, path you're following? Yeah, probably. All those things help. And then you get to a point where you realize
Mhm.
it all dissolves.
Okay. I
It's
saw
just love.
I saw many online gurus and online healing who provide like these services like healing and Nabi Parikshan and Ayurveda retreat and these kind of courses they sell online. Okay, provide workshop. Okay, some provide offline, some online. I hear and read some news about them recently. Okay, with a guy, okay, who was actually scamming to the to the people who are coming into the workshop. What he was doing, for lady, actually he asked to compromise with him to get her body.
Well, here's the thing. You could devote a show to that. I don't want to even go to that negative energy. I think we kind of touched on it earlier that there's a marketplace for gurus,
Uh,
and I mean that a marketplace.
uh,
It is a business. There are some gurus out there that are absolutely 100% as they say. There's some other gurus out there that are taking advantage of those,
okay.
and it's all about fame, fortune, sex, money, whatever. Shame on them,
Yeah.
whoever they may be. Not my job. Not my job to uproot them and dig them out and point the spotlight on them. People will figure them out. So I always tell people, don't follow the personality of the guru,
Right.
the teacher. Follow the message. If the message is about love, follow it. Follow the guru. The guru who says that God is within, right? So follow the God within them because that's the same in all of us. So if you're following and serving the God within that person, the person turns out to be wrong or whatever, that's their problem. You're following the God within them. That's who you are honoring. So always honor the God within, and you can avoid all that. It's just, but when the guru starts asking for more and more and more money,
Money. Yeah.
and they got more and more gold on there and a Rolex watch, and they're driving a Rolls Royce or whatever, you got to go. God, when's one guy gonna have enough money? Come on. And having many followers doesn't make him any more saintly. Guy, there's some great saints out there that probably have five people that know them, but they're five people that are really getting something out of this one guy, right? So it's not how many; it's all about their level of love and energy. It should be pure. You shouldn't have to pay for a mantra. You shouldn't have to pay for a spiritual name. You shouldn't have to be paying thousands. You got to take care of the guru. You got to take care of the teacher. There's limits. There's limits. You got to go. Whoa, 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 whoa. He's got a million people each get him $1,000. That's more than enough for him to provide for his family. Come on, he's got $1 million a year coming in. What's going on? So I just tell people follow your heart, have a relationship, a personal relationship with the divine. and realize that if a guru is standing in front of you, or a teacher, or me, or anybody, and they got a body, they're not perfect. They got a body. That means they got an ego. They got an I-ness. Uh, they may be good people and all that, but they're still have a body and an ego, meaning they're subject to all manners of temptations and pains, aches, desires, everything else. So a lot of people can have power because they've accumulated all this energy from doing all these special techniques, and now they got power. They could walk through a wall, be two places at once, do all kinds of crazy stuff. But what's in their heart? Is it love for everybody? Because anybody, it's like magic. You can learn to do that stuff. There's not a level of spirituality. It's a level of energy and frequency and power. That's all. So you want to make sure the highest frequency in you is love. Love is the greatest frequency. Now, if you focus on that, great.
Okay. Good.
So
So, and tell me one more thing. I always think, actually, this is my question. I always have in mind. So maybe you can tell me about this. Okay. What about like astrology? I saw people do astrology, watch palm. Okay, and give you the future. And
okay, let's talk about
Mhm.
fate, destiny, and free will.
Okay,
Okay. First off, there is no fate and destiny. It's all karma. It looks like fate. Oh, this is what you're supposed to do. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Oh, I see this, but it's already a projection. Since all is now, it's already a projection of the decisions you made to end up at that place at that time. You have manifested that future. You, through your thoughts, deeds, actions, desires, this lifetime, past lifetimes, whenever. All your future you created. Now, if somebody can read it, reading the future, like, or even time traveling, some of the things I've experienced, it's just a matter of changing your frequency because it's all now. You just think about this. Remember VCR tapes? You guys, you're old enough to remember videotapes, right? Yeah, it's not too long ago, but it seems like forever. I talk to young people, they go, VCR tape, what's that? I go, like movies. Anyway, so if you we used to have rental stores called Blockbusters in America, and you could rent a movie, and they'd bring it back. It's supposed to be wind and rewound, and then you give it. But if you rent it, and the guy before you didn't rewind it, you put it in your VCR recorder, and you play it. You could be in the middle of that thing, and you go, "Oh my God, what's happening to this poor guy? Everybody's picking on him. He's going to jail." But you don't know what's at the end of that tape, which means everything works out. You didn't see the beginning of the tape to understand why he's in the situation he is. You just focused on the now, and you're worried. That's our life. We're focused on this little part of our VCR tape, our existence, and we're focused right here.
okay,
But in truth, the ending of the tape is already here. The rest of the tape is over here, the past. It's all there. All you got to do by changing your frequency is just move where your focus is at. Not magic,
Mhm.
not magic. It's just frequency change, like changing a radio station. Okay, it's all coming to you in a room. You could be in a room. There's TV signals coming in, right? Unless you got a TV receiver, a television set, and you go to the right channel, you don't see none of that stuff going on. But it's there in the room with you, right?
Okay,
So it's the same thing with past, future, present. Guy. So when a guy reads a fortune, now first off, there are 50% of the people out there are probably scam artists. All right,
okay,
it's, it's they tell you what you want to hear. All right, but there are genuine people out there that can tell you. But then I believe Lord Shiva is quoted as saying something about in Vedic astrology that the best could only ever be 80% correct, the very best,
Vedic
right?
astrology.
Yeah, Vedic astrology, the best could only be about 80, 85% correct. You know, so and that's because when people tell you things about the future, the fact that changes your outlook on the future.
Mhm.
When you know something, it changes and alters your behavior and your thoughts. So even though they kind of capture the essence of it, for example, If I read your cards and I said, "Oh, AJ, looks like you got lung cancer here when you're 60 years old,"
Mhm.
you better, so you're in your mind, you go, well, "I better stop smoking cigarettes." Well, if you stop smoking cigarettes when you got that reading, 60 years old, you don't have the cancer because you had advanced knowledge. You changed that future, which changed the days after that as well. So yes, people can read cards, tarot cards. People can read Vedic astrology, Western astrology, uh, Nadi palm leaf reading, which is just amazing to me. That's just really out there. That's kind of a combination of all those. But people can read past the future and the present. A lot of people out there are claiming to read the past. Don't pay for a past life reading. Don't. How do you verify anything they're saying is true? Oh, you were Napoleon. You were this. You were. Yeah. There's no way of knowing any of that, right? So, uh, but if people are making predictions on the future, you got to ask yourself, why do I want to know? What am I going to do with that knowledge? So, if you're finding out something in the future that you have control over and you can change, good. But like I used to, when I was in Vietnam, I would know who was going to get shot, who was going to get killed, what helicopters were going to crash, get shot down. And I tried to tell people, and everybody thought I was crazy. And then when it happened, people didn't know what to say. But it wasn't my destiny; it was theirs, their destiny. So changing somebody else's destiny, very hard to do.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Do
yeah,
you, do you believe
if
in?
you were to pay, if you were going to pay for any reading, the one that would do you the most good would be a Nadi palm leaf reading because it would tell you what your dharma was, what your purpose was, why you're here, what you should be pursuing. Forget all the stuff about the health and fortune and money and because it'll give you a lot of stuff. But focus on what's my purpose? Why am I here? What should I be doing? If nothing else, if you get that out of the reading, you're in good shape. All right, next question.
Okay. Wow, that's nice. I like the experience you are sharing and the information you are sharing. These are a lot for me. I never thought all these actually. And let me tell me one more thing. Okay, do you believe in ghosts? Ghost? Is it like true or it's like people just making? Because I never.
Ghosts, yes.
Some people say,
I,
uh,
I've seen ghosts.
"You seen ghost?"
I've been at a house, yes. And I've talked to people in India that have seen ghosts.
And how it
Uh,
look? It looks like ghost. Can you,
well, it depends on, again, it's your frequency
uh,
and what you're able to receive.
okay.
There's some people that will see them in a room and nobody else will,
Mhm.
like the great ones. Um, and ghosts, the ones that you're thinking of, like they're haunted a house or they're still hanging around. It's souls that have left and they just haven't. They're still living in the delusion that they're not dead. They're hanging on here to something. So when you have a ghost experience or you know of a ghost someplace, then you should be doing a puja of some kind, something to help that ghost, that spirit, that soul to move on.
Right.
It's they just need to be released, acknowledged, released.
Right.
You're loved, go to the other side, boom. Suicidal souls will hang around. People have been killed suddenly. People that were trying to hang on to something. But yeah, I've seen ghosts. They're real.
Okay.
It's the real deal. I've seen great saints and sages come to me. That's a real deal. I've seen a lot of things. When I was at an ashram in India, it was Easter Sunday, and I saw Jesus in this Shiva temple in the Shiva lingam. I was like, wow, there's Jesus looking at me. I came down, and pretty soon there was
Okay,
all these
so
Germans were
wait,
there.
wait, 1 second, please. Okay, I
No,
sorry.
no, no, hang on a second.
Sorry.
That's whole story here. So 12 people saw this independently,
Okay.
and some people were like crying and everything else. It was like a hologram. Jesus was inside this thing, just looking out and smiling, and eye contact, movement. I mean, it was the real deal. But it was in a Shiva temple. So for my Christian friends, watching that, they go, "Oh, I mean, Jesus in a Shiva temple. There's only one God. Yes, I believe in all that stuff. only because I've experienced them.
So you
Everything else, everything else is a theory.
you are saying you saw Jesus in Shiva's temple.
Yes, along with 12 other people.
Wow. So how like he speak with you or talk with you or say something when Jesus was in temple? And
No, that's private, but for the rest of the people, no, it was just the appearance.
oh, okay.
AJ, when you're ready and your spirit is at the right frequency,
Uh-huh.
you will get what you need.
Wow.
So, but people are chasing. They want to see Babaji. They want to see some great one. They want to have. If you're chasing, it keeps eluding you. It keeps moving. So, seek first the kingdom of God.
Okay.
Everything else comes to you. Just seek God. Everything else is side effect. Just a side effect. Oh, okay.
All right. It was a nice conversation with you. Okay. Before I, you know, I leave the session. I want you to please share some like some tips or some good information. Okay, which anyone like me or a normal person who will watch this episode, they can grab that and can use in their life. Okay, it can be a tip or anything you want to share, please.
I have found that the greatest teachers that we have in our lives
Okay.
are your enemies. The people that have done you wrong,
Uh-huh.
harmed you, bad bosses, parents, step parents, ex wives, doesn't matter. Anybody you put on this list, the people that have harmed you in some way, you got two choices. You can go, oh, I'm wounded, I'm a victim. How terrible that is. Look how they're treating me and be angry and sad. Or you can look at it and say, what gift is this person giving me? Why am I having this experience? What is the gift that I'm supposed to learn? And I found that the greatest teachers are those that have harmed you in some way, exposed your ego, exposed your anger, whatever these things, but they've gotten you to learn compassion and learn forgiveness and learn to love them. Rev Bill's got two rules. One, I tell people, we're all God, right? Therefore, you have to love everybody. But rule number two is, but you don't have to like anybody. Gotta love them, but you don't have to like them. Because there's people out there, yeah, you love them, they're a spiritual being, there's God. But they're doing bad things to you or others, and you don't want to hang around them because they're harmful, right?
Right.
That's okay. Don't hate them, pull away from them, withdraw your energy from them. And don't send out anger and hate towards people that have harmed you. Everything you send out, you get back greater. So, oh my God, if I'm sending out anger and hate, the universe just gives you more anger and hate coming back, amplifies it within you. It just builds. But if you give love, forgiveness, compassion, what are you going to get back? More of that. So, for your own sake, for your own self, love your enemies. It's for you, not them. It's for you. You get the gifted. You get the gifts that brings. Whether they ever know you forgave them or not, it's not important. That'd be the ego going up to somebody and saying, "Oh, I forgive you for how terrible you treated me." And the guy, what are you?" You know, that would be the ego. If you truly forgive somebody, it's just right here in your heart, and you go, you don't send them any hate, you send them love. So the key to that I take away from this interview, if anybody watching this, if they're still watching,
Yeah.
don't hate, love. Don't hold a grudge, forgive. We're all God. We're all family, all one. So treat everybody. And it's the thing people forget about this namaste. The God me bows to the God in you. People just overdone that. They lose the whole meaning of that. Truly, the God in me is the God in you. It's the oneness. That's the philosophy of India that's young people are overlooking. When I say young, I'm talking about 40 years and younger. Young people to me. So know your roots. The roots of India are spiritual and they're deep. and they're beautiful and they're sacred. So don't uproot those. Keep those in your heart.
Right.
But when you call out to the universe, God, I need help. Things are going wrong. When you go, and then realize that every prayer is answered in some way. Maybe somebody watching this video will say, he just answered my question I had. Our prayers answered. And I'm telling you, yes, they are. And they could be on a video. Have faith, trust, but always, always, always love. And if you're a parent, teach your children to love. And by you punishing them and getting angry with them and slapping them around, and what have you taught them? I'm more powerful than you, and I can make you hurt. I can control you instead of
Right.
I've forgiven you. I used to tell my grandchildren, last piece of advice, I used to tell my grandchildren, "Oh, Grandpa, I made a mistake. I did this. Grandma's. I'm sorry I did this." And I always tell them, "It's okay. Don't make the same mistake again. Go out and make new mistakes. That's okay. Make new mistakes. Have fun. Make new mistakes, but don't make the same ones that you've already done,
Right.
and you'll evolve. Don't make new mistakes. Don't make the old ones again. So learn your lesson. Move on. So it's all good. It's all experience. It's all learning. Thank you, AJ, for having me on your show.
Thank you so
And if you want,
much, Bill, for coming on this show.
if you want to go deeper in any of this, because we just touched on subjects, we could
You
talk
know, it's very deep information.
experiences, rainbow bite experiences,
For-
alien abductions.
Let me
We
tell
can
you,
do anything.
for more deeper, I also have to, learn lots of things. So I don't have more, deep information about it. You gave me the information, I got it, and I understand, and everyone will watch. So next time, whenever if we will do any podcast, so then we will do, go into the deep, okay? Because me and people will learn about it, okay? And so we will have some more questions because I ask all the questions which I have in my mind, and you gave the better and better answer and explain beautifully. So thank you so much for your time today and coming on this show. We are going to release this next week. And if you have anything for me, any message for me, personally for me, you can share. If it is okay, then thank you.
Don't be so hard on your parents.
Sorry.
Don't be so hard on your parents,
Okay.
judging them. They didn't have any training. They did the best job they could do.
Yes.
Okay, so just accept them where they're at and just love them for who they are.
Right.
There's going to come a time where they're not going to be around. And you're going to say, "Damn, I wish I would have had more time to talk to them. I wish I would have said this." Don't wait. Okay,
Great.
don't wait.
Thank you so much. Okay. Namaste. Okay. Bye bye.